Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have something that actually happened that we were watching a little bit earlier on throughout this week, where we had PlayStation finally go do a proper brand new update, and this is actually more so in regards to the PlayStation 5 controller. Now, for this is actually a little bit more on the in-depth side, because it's actually kind of a continuation of what happened before, and this is actually about to go and become, we believe, one of the really biggest PlayStation 5 updates, at least more on the controller side, coming out in the very near future. So we have a lot of stuff to go talk about, a lot of things to go bring on up, and I think this actually is going to be the start of something very magical, and I can't wait to go and share it with you when it's finally out. But as of right now, we're more on the very first stepping stone when it comes to brand new firmware updates, brand new updates in general, and everything with it all intermixed. It's very nice to go and see. So let's go and talk about it. Let's go dive into the news. And overall, I'm just happy to go and see this. So let's go talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. And sign up for Webull, sign up for Coinbase, and all that other good stuff all down below. And let's go dive in the video itself. So, if you guys saw a video maybe around maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, something in the mix of that, we actually had a very big future update coming that actually was leaked by Sony themselves. And this is also in regards to the PlayStation 5 controller. So as you guys know, this has always been one of the pinnacle of when it comes to content. And the PlayStation 5 controller, with their adaptive feedback, triggers, and everything else built on in, where there's literally actual motors inside the controller itself, it kind of turns into the next gen of gaming when it comes to immersion and utilizing these controllers for your console itself. And what we kind of talked about before is that on Sony's behalf, there actually was a leak where they updated a lot of the legal and also more internal information of a web page that had all the PlayStation 5 controller updates as well as PlayStation 5 on PC. And this kind of led to a lot of good speculation, a lot of good stuff going on, which we'll kind of cover up again throughout today. But as of right this second, we actually had a brand new PlayStation update in regards to the controller itself. This was officially promoted on official channels, tweeted out, and we're going to talk about it because this also leads to a lot of really good stuff. And as I mentioned, I believe this is maybe part one of some huge updates on the way. So the official PlayStation account itself, PC players can now update their DualSense wireless controller with the latest firmware from Windows 11 and select Windows 10 devices without even having to go connect now to the PlayStation 5. Details here, which we're going to show you guys in a second. But the one big thing to kind of note is that this is a rare thing. Now, we do see the occasional PlayStation 5 update that happens, we just kind of see stuff in general, whether it's just improving system performance, which is overall a little bit of a meme by itself, but there's also other updates when it comes to just overall firmware updates that make the console more efficient, flow better, just overall updates in general. But the one big thing to go and note is this is in regards to the PC players, as you guys can see. So, there's not too much into this until we get to the ramble, but basically for this we have to update the wireless controller firmware. And this is a proper web page with a proper PlayStation with proper now connection, and the biggest thing to note is you guys can now officially do this on your PC. So keep that in mind. So basically it says improve your performance on your DualSense wireless controller by updating the firmware. Always update to the latest version before use. To update the firmware, use a Windows PC and app. Basically firmware updater for DualSense wireless controller. Basically just giving you the rundown how to do it. Here's your system requirements too, just in case you need a Windows PC that meets the following system requirements: Windows 10 or 11. At least 10 megabytes of storage, for updates. Hopefully higher than 720p resolution, at least this in day and age. And also USB port. And also, just a really quick step by this, we'll get to more stuff in a second. If it's your first time updating the firmware, which actually might be new for a lot of folks, although I do actually recommend using the PS5 controller on PC. It actually runs pretty good. You basically will need to install the app on your PC, Windows PC. Next time you need to update the firmware, start from step 3. And I do believe as well, just you guys, if you guys are worried about this stuff or whatever, I do believe you can just literally utilize your PS5 console itself and update the firmware through there. This is just kind of providing an option in case you only bought the PlayStation 5 controller. People do a lot of times with the Xbox 360 or Xbox initial controller itself. So just keep that in mind. Some people just don't even have a PS5. They just like the controller, or they use a PS4 one and then they updated one or whatever. So basically just all this one, you just have to download the firmware updater, run the installation file itself. You might have to maybe download additional stuff too on top of that. Download all this stuff, launch the controller with the firmware updater, and then use the USB to connect to your controller to your Windows PC and go from there. So the only reason why I went to that detail of like kind of showing it, just in case anyone does it themselves or it's kind of a newer thing or whatever. But the biggest thing is, this, I believe, was not available before. Before, I believe you had to have it connected with your PlayStation 5 itself to be able to go internally update and upgrade your controller's firmware. And firmware is honestly very important when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and just normal controller, because if it's not up to date, you may not be able to go utilize it in the games you're playing. The games you're playing may not actually even recognize the controller. And as well, whenever you do finally get the adaptive feedback and triggers when it comes to PC gaming, in theory, you would not be able to go utilize them unless it was fully updated. So first and foremost, that's huge, because that means that there's even more stuff coming in the near future. And we kind of discussed this, because as of right now, there's a lot of really big leaks floating around. We may actually make a separate video on it, where it has a lot of big consoles and big surprises, a lot of big AAA games, and a lot of things that even developers are saying we're going to be surprised on. And right now we're a bit of a lull when it comes to gaming, so to me is actually a pretty good sign. But I think a lot of this comes down to the fact of there is also a lot of leaks for a lot more PC games coming to Steam. Now, I speculated on that beforehand when it came to the prior video that they want to update the PS5 controller, they want to make it run better on PC. So does that mean PS5 games might be coming to PC, or at least Sony themselves pushing a lot more general games on PC? This after we had God of War doing phenomenally, Horizon as well, the very first Horizon doing well, and other games apparently also in the pipeline. So this also now has new information in regards to the update is now finally live. As you guys can see, we kind of talked about throughout this video, which is kind of the very first initial stepping stone being able to utilize your PS5 controller on PC. And now this may not be a big deal. This is, like I said, part 1 of essentially part 2 and 3 of, first and foremost, a lot more games coming to the PC market, which I think is a very big thing when it comes to Sony, because right now there are still people who don't have a PlayStation 5, but do have a PC, or as well there's also a huge, massive, untapped market that Xbox has been into very well, and Nintendo is very much slacking on. But that's why it also kind of has a good, really good, it has a good reception. Basically, the very first things, like I said, with Horizon and God of War, they did phenomenal. We also did see a lot of things on record, say from Jim Ryan and other various higher-ups from Sony themselves, stating and pushing that they want to go have more of these games available on PC, which makes a lot of sense. You get more sales, you get more market. So this is the part 1. Now, this may not seem like the biggest thing, and hopefully it seems cool. Hopefully you guys are seeing the potential. It's not about oh, cool, we have a random firmware update, we can't wait to go and do this. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys actually have your PS5s already in the first place, just playing your PS5. But like I said, it's the next step. This is like the preemptive, because we saw the leak. We saw Sony themselves leak the website that they want this allowed on PC, which would allow us to utilize it on Epic Games Launcher, on PC, say play Fortnite or other various games, on Steam, which would allow haptic feedback, and also allowing Sony to sell even more future games. Although it may not still be day 1, because it does kind of seem like Sony themselves like to push around maybe a 1-year mark or so right after the fact. But when it does come to the stuff in general, this is all around good news, because it's the future. This is going to be this is basically the step 1, like I said. This is basically when we just know there's going to be a huge update and huge features, and they somehow mess up the website. They want to make sure the legal was all good, and then it was just leaked on out. So this is awesome. Mainly probably for me, because I'm a big PC guy myself, but a lot of you guys I know out there also are on PC too. And on top of that, that also just kind of involves more games, more gaming options, or even more conversations you guys can have with folks about yo, did you go play the new Horizon? Oh yeah, I did, it's on PC, it's great. All this type of stuff is huge, because this is how Sony should be growing as a company. And as well, this is kind of basically allowing the utilization of one of the best features of the PlayStation 5 on PC, which is awesome. I love seeing this. I really, really do love seeing this. So I kind of want to give your thoughts and comments down below. Like I said, the initial firmware update, it is rare. There's really not that many firmware updates that the PS5 controller has ever really gotten, and one of them was just a major bug fix to make sure a lot of issues were being fixed when it came to Joy-Con drift. That was quite a while ago. So the fact that this is important enough, and they're already updating this stuff preemptively, allowing folks to do this for their PCs, this pretty much means that this is way closer than we're expecting. It's not years away, it's sooner than that. that. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. I mean, this is kind of a little bit more of a speculation and future video for it, but this is kind of probably going to be a really big update in the future of the PlayStation ecosystem as a whole, and I'm all for it. So give me your thoughts and comments down below as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. On top of that, too, make sure you guys are subscribed as well just for the PS5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below, and sign up for that Weeble and Coinbase, and I'll see you guys all throughout today for a bunch more videos. Love you guys.